Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything. I'm coming at you with another Wargaming and Miniature video. We are continuing on with our Market Garden project update, the Fallschirmjager edition. Yeah, what I'm basically doing today is we'll be assembling the Fallschirmjagers. I've got my snippers, I got my X-Acto, I've got my glue, I've got my workbench, and I've got the sprues, and just letting you know, I've abandoned the idea of the fender washers. No, I haven't abandoned it. Let me rephrase that. I will continue to use fender washers when needed. When not needed, then I won't use them. We're looking at like 36 Fallschirmjager models here, and they all come with, the set comes with the bases. I don't have to fill a hole in the middle. And we were playing the other night, and all my Americans are on the plastic bases, and I didn't have any problems using them. So, and everybody in the world that plays bolt action isn't having any problem with the plastic bases. And I've noticed that the plastic bases are very thin. I mean, they're extremely thin, and they have enough of a lip around the edge to hold any flock or anything like that on the inside. And then later on, if I wanted to paint the edges of the bases, they would be nice. And it makes them lighter. So we're just going to go ahead and use the plastic bases that are included. All right, so let's go ahead and, before we get started, before I got started, I wanted to let you know that I went through and I figured, what do I have? I went through and I took the sprues and I counted all the machine guns, all the Panzerfausts, all the rifles, all the FG-42s. Then I went through and I actually used Easy Army to design my Fallschirmjager army. And I went through and I picked out the rifles and everything else, and I organized them into squads virtually with my army list. And then once now I know, okay, this is how many machine guns I need, this is how many Kar 98s I need, this is how many MP40s I need, so that when I go to assemble these models, I'll have a guide telling me, okay, I need this many rifles. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, and we'll get these things cranked out. Okay, so if you haven't noticed already, what I'm doing is I'm snipping off all of the torsos, all the bodies. And luckily with the Fallschirmjagers, all of the legs come pre-attached to the bodies. So there's no assembling of any of the kneeling models. And I'm going to go through and we're going to get all of the bodies off first. That's what we're going to do. All right, so once we get all the bodies off, then I'll be right back. All right, now that I got them all cut out of their sprues, I need to go back over them and trim them and get rid of the burrs. Basically, tonight we're just going to be preparing the models. I'll be probably doing the painting tomorrow. Let's go ahead and I have 3 days off this week, which is pretty cool. 3 days back to back, actually. So I think I'm going to assemble tonight and maybe paint tomorrow. And if we can, or if it takes me too long, then we'll finish painting on Wednesday. All right, so that guy looks like he's trimmed up pretty good. Let me go ahead and continue on trimming all these up, and then I'll be back for the next step. All right, so I got them all trimmed up, but I do want to point out, look at all of this plastic dust that I scraped off of these models. Every single one of these models had a seam through the front and the back. You need to really be vigilant and go through those models. These guys were lousy with them. All right, now I'm going to start with the machine guns today. The machine guns, I'm going to have 3 10-man squads. And in those squads, there's going to be 2 machine guns in every squad. I know I'm going machine gun heavy on my Fallschirmjagers. Okay, so what that means is, and there are 6 different poses, so I'm going to give each one of these poses a machine gun, right? So you're going to have kneelers, standers, walkers. So basically, every one of those machine guns is going to look different. That was the plan. All right. Now on the sprues, you get 2 machine guns on every sprue. So really, I have 12 machine guns. Okay, I have a machine gun at port arms with an attached arm. And let's go ahead and get the second arm as well, the carry arm. And then there's another machine gun where he's carrying it over his shoulder. I think I want to do all of them at port arms because I have 6 of these. I could use 6 of those. I guess I'm going to have a couple of them with it over their shoulder. The guys that are kneeling are definitely going to have the port arms one. I think I'm only going to do 2 with them over the shoulder. All right, now that I got the machine guns and both of their like left and right arms cut out, I'm going to go through and do the exact same thing, trim off any of the burrs, and make sure that the guns are cleaned up, as well as the arms, and make sure there's no sprue lines. Okay, see, like there's a burr right there. And scrape off any seam lines. All right, now let me do that with all the guns and all the extra arms, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start the assembly. Now I'm using the DAP Rapid Fuse. I see that the label is starting to wear out. Interesting. Okay. This guy kind of running, he's going to have the, I don't know. Maybe this guy should have it over his shoulder. Now I find it easier to do the left arm and position it because it's a small little piece. And then when you put the right arm that's already attached to the gun, it will, oh, that's a good elbow on knee pose. Now I can glue the shoulder and the wrist, and it'll fit just perfectly right onto that position. So now you just got to make sure your wrist hand and your shoulder is all lined up and get your other fingernail out of the way. That's a thing. Get the hand to match up, get the shoulder to match up. And then you get a guy kneeling and he's holding the machine gun up port arms. Now, both of the ones that I've done so far have held their gun up a little higher. I'm going to go ahead and mount a couple of these guys with the gun held lower, especially the guy that's running. All right, so let's go ahead and do him. Left arm first, but instead of high, I'm going to try to make it a little bit lower. Okay, that's pretty low. Let's see what we get when we do the... Now you notice how fast that dried or stuck. Okay. Okay, elbows. I'm not elbows, but the wrist and the shoulder. Yeah, look at that. All right, let's keep going. Now this guy's just standing still, leaning. I think I want to have this left arm very low. Not high, not parallel, but angled downward. There we go. So you got a little bit of an angle down on that guy. I don't know if his arm's going to make it. Okay, that might be too low. There we go. Go up just a slight bit. We're going to let that dry a little bit. Usually about 15 seconds. That's all the rapid fuse needs. The shoulder, yeah, everything, it went together perfect. And you see that's a little bit of a lower carry. Yeah, and you can do whatever you want. All right, now these guys all have assistant gunners. And I was going to also make, and they're all going to carry Car 98s. But then I'm going to have the 4 guards actually carry Car 98s. But we're going to go with the assistant gunners right now. And because there's 6 of them, guess what? We're going to have 6 different poses. 1 of each of the poses. All the assistant gunners are going to have the extra machine gun belts. And if I have any extra ammo can arms, we're going to use those as well. So let me go ahead and cut all the ammo cans and the machine gun belts, ammo belts, and then I'll be right back. All right, I got them trimmed. Now let's try to pair up some of these guys. I don't know if I want to give the guys that are kneeling maybe this guy, but not this guy. The guy that's kneeling on his knees, I don't think I want to give him an ammo can in his hand and a rifle in his other hand. It doesn't really make sense to me. So I'm going to give him where he's reloading his rifle. So we'll go ahead and attach that. So that's the kneeling guy. Pretty cool. Now the big question is, on this kneeling guy, do I want to give him a rifle in his hands, or do I want to give him a rifle in his? I think I'm gonna break the mold, and I'm gonna give him the ammo can in his hand and rifle in his other hand. So his left hand's kind of low like that. If I put a rifle in that, the sling would be dragging on the ground. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and put some ammo belts on their neck. This is before I put the heads on. And then I put it on, making sure there's enough room to put the neck and the head. And I'm going to make the belts hang straight down. Yeah, it's hanging down like that. There's 6 of these. Now I wonder if I can get it to go onto this. Oh, looks like I will. It'll tuck down inside. Okay. All right, once I get all these glued on, we'll go on to the next step. Okay, now in addition to the 6 Car 98s that are the assistant gunners, I need 4 Car 98s that are going to be messengers, runners, guards, the guys that are attached to like leadership or medics or things like that. So basically just 4 Car 98s. So I don't think I want to use the kneeling guys for that purpose. I think I want to use the standing guys and the running guys for all those reasons. All right, so now let's pull out those legs, and then let's use the Car 98s that are attached already to the hands. Now I've noticed that one of the Car 98 rifles is actually in a firing position, like he's got it up to his eyes, locked into his shoulder. I might want to put that on a kneeling guy. I've kind of changed my mind. I think I'm going to put him on a kneeling guy. There's going to be a standing firer. That's probably going to be him. And a running guy's not going to be running and firing. So there we go. All right, so now we're going to do the actual NCOs and officers of the squads. I actually have 2 NCOs per squad, or two men carrying MP40s. And then I also have the lieutenant and captain or whatever other officers that I'm going to be doing. I also have 2 of them. So it's actually a total of 8 MP40s. So I want to have one of my officers kneeling. I think I'm going to go with one of everything to start, because there's only 6. Okay, so there's 6. Now I need two senior officers, and I think I want. I think I'm going to go with another kneeling guy. Those are all going to be MP40s. Just a little thinking. Everything's already trimmed. They're all going to be fairly simple. We're not putting the heads on right now or the packs. We're just putting the arms with the MP40s. So now we might have some guys pointing and things like that. I don't know. Let's figure out what we got available. These little hands with the pointing fingers are really small, so be careful not to drop them. It's okay, because you're going to get 6 of them. So if you drop one, you can probably get it. Just pull another one out. I'm going to use the pointed fingers on both of my senior officers. So they're going to use the machine gun, the submachine gun, that slings over their neck. And then their left arm is going to be the same left arm that would have normally been on the 2-piece, the one where the right hand's gripping the submachine gun and the left arm would connect to the magazine. Using that same left arm for the pointed fingers. Again, they all need to be trimmed. So when I get them all trimmed, I'll be right back. So I got one hand going like this, and then I got another hand going like that. Just subtle differences, just to give my army a variety. You know what I mean? And I did want to say that the third arm, I am using the binoculars hand. Okay, I'm letting those fingers dry a little bit before I put those arms on. But let's go ahead and I'm thinking I know it's hard to do, but I'm thinking as I glue these together how I want my army to look. So we're going to have this guy kneeling on the ground, which I had already planned. It's going to be one of my senior officers. I'm going to have him be one of the guys pointing. I was going to use a grenade hand, but that's a right hand. So I couldn't put the right-handed in a left hand. Wouldn't look right. Now, it has a sling. Remember, that sling's got to go over the neck. Now, this is going to be one of the NCOs who's going to use the other pointed finger. The binoculars I'm going to put on the other officer, and I think I want him to be the guy that's kneeling. Believe it or not, I think I want my officers to be kneeling. That guy could be the NCO, though. I don't know. But I'm thinking this guy with the binoculars might be... He holds the binoculars out way out. Like he's directing traffic with his binoculars. Okay. I'm going to have that on a standing guy. Yep, it's going to be this guy. Yeah, you see how he's holding the binoculars way out? It's like weird. All right, let's put another one of these over the shoulder machine guns. I'm thinking about snapping off the sling. I'm going to do that. Just so it'll feel better. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, remember I'm gluing the left arms on first. And then the right arm with the machine gun attached will be able to glue to that wrist. All right, so we got the submachine guns good to go right here. I got some pointy fingers. I got some binoculars. I got some ready to fire grip on the magazines. All right, now we're going to move on to the main type of troop in the Fallschirmjagers, the FG-42s. Okay, I need to do 4 FG-42s per squad. What's funny is I put 4 Panzerfausts in every squad, and I haven't put any Panzerfausts on these guys because you have 2 machine gunners. Let's put these in squads. These 4 guys are not in any of the squads, so kind of ignore those 4. But we have 3 squads of 10, right? And I'm putting, and these don't have to be organized properly. I'm just to give you a concepted idea. Those are my 2 officers. And these are the 2 NCOs, or 2 guys with MP40s in each squad. That's already 6 figures. And then I need to put 4 more figures of FG-42s. Now I'm going to have FG-42s with Panzerfausts. I'm going to have to do every single one of them. Or I could just attach Panzerfausts to these guys in a random, because luckily the sprue comes with a single Panzerfaust that I could just attach to anybody. Or it also comes with the right hand over the shoulder Panzerfaust. And that's kind of what I was thinking I was going to use, is the right hand over the shoulder, and then maybe a FG-42 in his left hand. Possibly. Somehow. But all the FG-42s that I want to use are like firing. I guess I'm going to have to use that at some point. Might as well use it with that guy. We'll see. Let me cut a lot of these out first, and then we'll figure it out. All right, so let me cut these out, and I'll be right back. All right, now the next step is we're going to do some heads and their accessories, their pouches and things like that. Now let's go ahead and put them kind of, sort of. All right, so there's some heads on here that have the hat. We're going to go ahead and senior officer hat or whatever. Cut that off. I'm going to use two of those. One's going to be for the lieutenant and one's going to be for the either major or captain. Okay, so we're definitely going to use those two. Now, each squad, remember, has those two NCOs. You got the sergeant and the corporal. I'm going to go ahead and use the soft caps for those two in each squad. Now the other heads, some of them have camouflage netting, some have like little bicycle goggles over the helmet, some are just plain helmets with no straps or anything, and there's others that are plain helmets with straps. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix and match these heads with the bodies. I'm not really going to pay attention to which person is wearing what helmet. So there should be 36 heads, right? We're looking at 36. Okay, what do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, now I've cut out 36 heads that I want to use. These heads still need to be trimmed, believe it or not. Mainly, they just might have a little sprue line on them or something. You just got to look them over real quick and just make sure that everything is fine. The only ones you really need to worry about are the ones that don't have the camouflage, the ones that are just smooth helmets. You want to make sure you get rid of that center line. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put these heads on there. Now, I've kind of made a judgment call. Like I said, I was going to do the NCOs, which are the I wanted to say MP5s, but they're MP40s. They're going to be the sergeant and NCOs, or sergeant and corporal. And the sergeant has a different type of soft cap than the corporal does. So I'm going to go ahead and do those quick. Do those first. Okay, now that I've got all the haversacks and canteens and mess kits, entrenching tools, camo containers. Now I just have to figure out who. Now, some of these already have entrenching tools built into them, and then there's others, all these others don't, but they have these entrenching tools here that are separate. So, but there's not enough of all these entrenching tools to cover everybody. So I just have to kind of pick and choose who I want to have these kits. And I think my officers and NCOs are not going to have entrenching tools just because they have the other guys do it for them. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and just kind of give the main guys the main pouches, and we'll try to figure out, as we go, which ones. And I'm going to randomly just put them on. I'm going to scatter it around. There's a good one right there. And I'm putting them here facing away from me so I can see which ones I've already done the pouches onto. Nice. Okay, so we got the haversacks. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put like ammo pouches, and the Fallschirmjagers have this unique way to carry ammo from the German army. They have these bandoliers that hang over their shoulders, and that's these right here. This is what you would see on the front of the model. I'm not going to put them on until I get all of the backs finished. The two officers have map cases and holsters for a pistol. In addition, of course, to their haversack and canteen. But they also, in addition to the pistol and map case, they should also have MP40 ammo cases, and we'll get that on the back side, in the front, I mean. Okay, the last thing that I want to put on their backs is I have these three MG42 or what do they call these? FG42s, and they need to go on the Panzerfaust guys that don't have anything in their hands. Mainly the Panzerfaust guys that are cradling the extra rockets or extra grenades in their pouch. So what I'm going to do is put the FG42 like across their back. Okay, so now I've got some MP40 magazines. You can see how small the magazine pouches. So you can see how small they are. I got my tweezers out so that I can apply them to the models. Now, when you're looking at the magazine pouch, you have to understand how they, in reality, what they would look like. They have a flap and then a strap. So remember to put the flap on the top. You just have to look very closely at them. Okay, and now I've got two. Okay, I got one for every NCO and one for each officer. Now I'm thinking, and then I've got two extras. So I'm thinking I could just give them all to my, give my officers two each, and then one for every NCO. I think that's how I'm going to try to do it. It just depends on how I can get up into that model. Right? Okay. This model looks like it's going to be, it's going to have places for two maybe one. I don't know. We'll see. The pistol looks like it's in the way on this guy. Same on that guy. So maybe the officers are only going to have one each as well. All right, so I got the MP40 magazine pouches on there. You know, holding it up like this. Let me see if you can see that, but I don't know if that's there and there, right? Now, these other paratroopers should have magazines draped over their chest in bandoliers. And you see half bandoliers here where I can use the left or the right. And then these are the H harness, like this one is a magazine and this is both. There's also left and right here. Okay, cool. But I'm not going to be able to put that on every one of these models. And the reason why is their weapons are too close to their body. And there's no way I would be able to drape those magazines on them. Now, the ones I want to really work on are the guys that have that are open-chested. Let me go ahead and turn these around. All right, I went ahead and finished the ammo pouches on these guys. These guys are finished being assembled. What I need to do now is kind of just let the glue dry about 30 minutes or so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to prime them. A really light, or maybe a field gray, and then we'll come back and we'll just kind of take a look at them as they're primed. All right, here's the Fallschirmjager box set so far, and I went ahead and primed these with the Rust-Oleum self-etching primer. Let's go ahead and get some close-ups of these so you get to see what they look like before we move on into painting. All right, now here is probably the overall commander. Maybe the first or second lieutenant. Take a look at some of these NCOs. Look at that, the treads on the bottom of his shoes. some of the machine gunners. I put the helmet with the goggles on every one of the machine gunners. Assistance. Got some Panzerfausts. I think that head might have fallen over. It's alright. Looks like he's thinking. Just a regular rifleman. FG-42, of course. Now, since we're here, I'm going to go ahead and show you the mortar. I didn't show you assembly, but this is the pewter mortar and its crew. Also comes in the box set. The anti-tank gun and its crew. Crews can be removed or moved to a different gun or shifted around or whatever. I do all my crew served guns with separate crew. Not the support. Support I put all on one base. Sniper. Flamethrower. Panzerschreck. just one of the runners. I used a different style helmet on these guys. Alright, well that's the end of the assembly video. What we're going to do is we're going to come on back to do the painting video in the second video. So come on back and check that out. Alright, I'll catch you next time.